Last time I was able to beat 2-cell difficulty with normal mode, but I do have to admit that was a pretty risky play. Sure, it worked out well, and going with survival, hoping for a good colorless item is maybe the best way to go about beating normal, but we have custom mode, and there are much safer runs I can do with this. So for 3-cell mode, because there's going to be a lot more enemies and a lot more difficult enemies early on, even if it's not all that much more difficult than 2-cell mode, I want to have a safe run. I want to have a nice, safe, easy run, and the best way to do that is with damage over time. So we got stuff like Blood Sword, Torch, even going down here, getting maybe like Pyrotechnics. If I'm going with Brutality, there's still a chance I might be able to get a colorless version of this anyway, so it's still worth throwing on, especially if I want to continue to have the sick achievements that you can always get there. And if I'm doing Brutality, let's just take this stuff and Rampart, just because, like I said, the invincibility barrier is pretty much separate from any sort of scaling concerns, and I want it for the invincibility more than anything else. I think that'll work. Turrets, same sort of deal as before. If I can get colorless versions of these, that would be amazing. Flamethrower turret, Cleaver, both pretty good options. Oil can buff up fire. Bleed affixes can be very powerful, stuff like bleed as well as poison, and of course the bleed propagation that allows bleeding to spread to nearby enemies can be extremely powerful against large groups, of which it's going to be happening more and more often, as you'll see. Could be worth just going for some basic, like, powerful grenades, but also, yeah, like, fire and oil can be a pretty good combination, too. If you get swarmed to cause bleed or poison, that might be able to kind of work with this build. Of course, Knife Dance, Corrupted Power is going to pretty commonly have an affix that will allow you to get a like cloud of poison or throw down fire on the ground. And then, I don't know, let's just say Tonic and Vampirism. Because if you get like a late game version of Tonic, it's pretty likely to have an affix on there that will be 15%, you know, just a flat 15% heal, which means that you'll be getting like 20% even if you have barely any points in survival. And Vampirism actually works pretty independently of statage, but I'm going to be going with Brutality, so it will at least deal a lot of extra bleed damage in a huge area anyway. Yeah, that'll be good for, you know, just saving me from some pretty dire situations if absolutely necessary. But then the thing that's going to really make these runs pop up, the thing that really... Oh, I'll also turn on you too. The thing that really makes a damage over time run work is the Hokuto's Bow, because each tick of that damage over time is going to be applied to the mark that you put on enemies. And I'm also going to throw on the other thing that buffs up damage over time, Wolf Trap, because it's not technically a mark, but when enemies are immobilized, it does increase the damage they take, and that's effectively the same thing. So yeah, a lot of very good pieces of equipment here, and also one that I'm going to unlock during the course of the run, and maybe the most important one of them all that will allow me to stay very, very far away from enemies and let the damage all do its dirty work. As they say in Darkest Dungeon, great is the weapon that cuts on its own, and that is very much what I'm going for here. And so as you can see, I'm not even being limited by, you know, I'm not even limiting my ability to earn achievements because I have enough items unlocked, and this should be a pretty easy run. This should go very well, very quickly. Even at low statage, I've found that this sort of build is actually surprisingly powerful. So if you're looking for an easy way to beat 2, 3, 4, 5 boss cell difficulty, this is the one that I would recommend. This is the one that I've had the most success with. For the next couple runs, I'll probably do something a little bit different that are also equally, maybe even potentially more powerful, but for right now, this is what I would definitely recommend. Bleed. I want to get that Hokuto's Bow immediately, so let's go with... yeah. I mean, I know that, like, Rampart and shields are not going to be very useful if I'm planning to have my second hand being taken up by this, but, you know, I can also just kind of have this sort of thing if I happen to have the right type of secondary items, maybe getting like an extremely powerful, you know, just going with like fire and oil. It can still work. It's just, for the most part, I'm probably going to be ignoring shields for now. There's a good chance that it's going to come up anyway. I don't know. We'll see. In the meantime, let's actually see how this does. So yeah. Now, of course, the beginning of each area is going to be very, very comparatively easy, as always. But as soon as I get past this first area, like I said, with my quote-unquote light grinding that I've been doing as of recently, I'll be able to open up the item that I'm going to want to take for this sort of combination. It's like, if anybody were to ask me, and I mean, why would you? It's not like, what makes me an authority on this game? This is the sort of run that I would recommend almost more than anything else. Which is also kind of why I want to bring it out early. Just because I don't want it to be... I want to go for a more traditional run, and especially a survival run for 5-cell mode, for reasons that will make more sense later. No poison. Yeah, it's not common that you're going to see... Nah, it's not common that you're going to see, like, you know, poison enemies or bleeds enemies on some of those secondary items, but just the chance for it appearing. I mean, especially with the... No, that was close. Especially with the merchandise categories, it should be pretty easy to set up the run even with the amount of things that I have unlocked right now. And that's not really what I'm looking for. Tactics, this is definitely the point in time that tactics runs start to become much less useful. Mostly because, oh, this is a new type of enemy, Rampager. Yeah, they haven't actually appeared prior to this point, have they? Yeah, so this is the point in time that, you know, tactics runs are going to start really falling off. Sure, why not? Just kind of switch it up here as I'm going through. Because you're going to be taking way too much damage. So although it might be tempting to go for a tactics run, and you can use some very powerful turrets and everything to get that working for you, I think that I'm going to... It's just... Brutality can have a decent amount of survivability. So can survival, but I mean, that doesn't get nearly the amount of, like, damage over time type of stuff that I would really like to see. It's like, we're getting real here. As we're kind of starting to approach, end game-ish, I guess. We're definitely in the second half. This is no time to be messing around. Well, and for this episode, I do have a bunch of lore rooms recorded, so this is a very apropos room right now. I'll be throwing them all at the end of the episode, so don't worry. I'll be throwing them all at the end of the episode, so don't worry about me spending too long with that. Wow. What an amazing get from that incredible lore room. I mean, it's a very fourth wall breaking type of lore room in the first place, so what do I really expect? All right, let's get out of here so I can at least get the 2-minute door, if nothing else. And keeping on top of weapons, you know, as powerful as you can possibly get them, is going to be important as you get farther and farther into the game. Because these ones are, like, significantly more powerful than a lot of the other items that I'm going to be getting. At least comparatively, like the Hokuto's Bow that I got at the beginning, 75%. Hokuto's Bow 2 frontline shield is 5. Maybe potentially get even more powerful stuff than that. But the other reason why I'm going through this area and why I'm grabbing stuff like the Forgotten Map, I mean, well, the Forgotten Map is something that I want to show off anyway, but it's because there is also one new thing that you can do now on 3 boss cell mode, and if I'm going to be trying to take the best item that I possibly can, the best like set of items that I possibly can, I'm going to try to go for it. It's a specific mutation that you can only get here that requires a very specific route through the game and an acute understanding of your environment to try to, like, suss out this secret. But I think it's worth it. All right. Alchemic Carbine. Poisons its victim. You can use it at a huge distance. It does have a little bit of a lag time when you're using it, but the poison lingers around. The poison does a lot of damage. The poison synergizes incredibly well with Hokuto's Bow. Like, for example, that door at the end of the hallway there, I would be able to attack them from here, get them poisoned, get them taking a ton of damage, and then just focus entirely on dodging or not even have to deal with enemies that entire time. It's an extremely powerful combination, maybe one of the best you're going to find in the entire game. I don't really know, but it's certainly been my experience with it. If all I want to do is beat a run, if I'm not, I do think that there are faster runs when it comes to. I'm not gonna use the map here just yet. I think there are faster runs when it comes to doing cell grinding and maybe even like, true speed running. But when it comes to just beating the game, completely forgot to do this last time, but hey, I remember now. You get wall running, you can really run up walls. You can run up walls infinitely. So remember that when it comes to looking for some secrets. I mean, even like you saw Flint when I was looking at the Flint drop that I could have gotten when I was looking at the. Okay, and there you go. The Flint drop that I got when I was back in the God, I'm trying to even remember the name, graveyard. It is a sure sign that there is a bunch of this sort of stuff all around the place. Yep, just one hit, one kill. Same thing. And like I said, with the way the mark works, it gets spread and everything like that, so that you can really get a lot of enemies killed by this tactic alone. Because the lingering poison just constantly infecting them if they're standing still in any way. The mark just spreading itself after everything that... And it spreads itself through walls and everything like that too, so... Things just become... It's more and more powerful over time. The way that it's like ranged, and if you just need to like kill a quick... You just need to do a quick kill on one of the flying enemies around, which all have very low health, so the damage you get out of that is actually enough to take them down. There are so many good things to say about this. But like I said, I mean, even in a pinch, you can use like Blood Sword, you can use the Torch, you can use... I mean, especially if you find something that's like even more powerful. If I'm not going to be taking the Hokuto's bow... I mean, I'm going to be taking the Hokuto's bow throughout the entire game. But I'm not going to be taking like the... Good. Come on, get poisoned here. Ugh, come on now. Don't ruin my kill count here. I was just saying how important those things are for the future. Well, anyway, come on, give me some better stuff here. I am perfectly willing to give this sort of thing up for some better items in the future. I'm not going to be taking the Alchemic Carbine this entire time if I don't absolutely need to. There's better stuff. There's better stuff, and there's going to be like, hopefully, maybe more powerful affixes or just more powerful items in general that I can possibly use, and that's going to be the real plan for the course of this. Poisons your enemies? Well, as we saw last time, I maybe was kind of relying a little bit more on that affix than I probably should have. But as you saw there, it's like, hey, you can still take down enemies pretty well. Yeah, let's try it again. That's the power of damage over time. Just the poison affix that you get after an enemy is that I'm getting on this hook after an enemy is marked is enough to take down some of the mightiest of foes. And this time I do need the Gardener's Keys for that for the first this doesn't always appear, so I'm pretty lucky, but I'm also worried. And also, yeah, there you go. That was exactly what I was hoping for. Throw some of that stuff on just on the off chance that you get it as a colorless item. Perfect, perfect. This is already looking pretty good. Well, anyway, yeah, what was I saying here? Also, wow, what is up with every one of these runs that I've been doing being very lucky? I mean, I guess, with the amount of... I've been making a lot of jokes about doing light grinding and everything, but, I have been playing this game a lot lately. Maybe it's just rewarding me for doing that, I suppose. Like, hey, it's great to see that you're coming back to the game. Here's everything you want in a run. I mean, really, I have been playing this game, like, I feel like non-stop since I started up this series. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, not even only that, I've also been playing this game, like, better than I ever have before. It's, be very careful when you're cursed here. Yeah, it's kind of weird because it feels like certainly I've beaten the game before. I mean, I showed that off in one of the previous episodes, and, I'm pretty well familiar with how the game works and everything, but beating, like, 2-cell mode last time was ridiculous. I would have never thought that I could have made that happen in a single run. I mean, just the luck. That's just like, yeah, I'm just not even only playing it a lot, I've also been playing it better than ever before, and it's almost like as if I'm not even really, it's not even me that's playing the game for the most part. Like, I'm doing it all on instinct right now. Just kind of sit back and, like, let my hands do the work, you know? Like I'm being guided or something. I'm betting it's probably because I gave up caffeine recently. It's bringing out the true natural gamer juices in me or something. That's maybe rephrase that. That also might explain why I've been sleeping pretty badly lately. I'm having those weird dreams. But that has nothing to do with the game right now. Anyway, now that I've gotten rid of the curse, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to start really getting just really starting to buff up my statage, which is important because usually, especially as you're trying to start to get into a little bit later in the game, you want to start to go through two areas: the prison depths and the corrupted sewers. I was corrected on what it was actually called last time. I mean, well, talking about playing well, and then that happens. Yeah, it's prison depths and the corrupted sewers both require you to have wall running to get into, and are kind of like bonus secondary areas just to get the extra stats. I think I showed the corrupted sewers off last time. I don't know. I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing so many runs, it's kind of all blurring together to me. Those are, you know, like extra bonus runs. If you happen to get some stats from like challenge drifts in there, that's even more stats that you can get. And, you know, you can also potentially get like some free new weapon upgrades in there as well. There's a lot of good stuff going on. I'll take that. Well, let's wait to sell it here first. There's like a lot of good stuff that you can get in there, and I think it's pretty much always worth it to kind of check it out. All right. As you can see, he was kind of getting desperate as the game has gone on here. Another reason why I really wanted to use this type of run is that there is going to be, like, this is a pretty difficult route through the game. And it is going to have me going up against some real rough customers in terms of bosses. So having, like, a very range-focused run is going to be important soon. I'll just say that right now. Also, if you are going to be having some of the secondary items used up by, like, say the map, or trying to go for like a hunter's grenade stuff, it's like this is also a very good run for that. You can really manage to output a lot of damage. As you can see, I'm barely even using like my turret right now, while also you know, having a slot being taken up by stuff. That's the price you pay for some of that. Not being able to have everything you want, you know, full build at all points in time. All right, I do have all 3 keys. That's important for what I'm doing. And I'm not going to use them here. Not that it really matters. After you solve a puzzle once, it's always solved, so whatever. Oh, and it's over 8 minutes. Ah, dang it. I didn't get into the door here. Oh, well. Maybe what I should do is I should just save up money to buy something from a shop. Either something really good item-wise or whatever, or I don't know. So just some food or something. Ripper's not the most important. You know what? Just give it to me. Oh, that's actually very good. Well, the 50% damage only applies to the 182 DPS on its initial hit, not the actual poison itself. But still, that's nice to get. It's also, you know, both of the main stats that I'm looking for. All right, Soldier's Resistance. Health without needing to drop the whole... cannot have food without needing to drop food entirely, which is good for me. Because I have still been getting hit here, and it's just gonna keep happening in the future. I mean, I can talk up how I'm playing the game as much as I want. I'm still going to be getting hit regardless. All right, so the reason why you need to be on 3-cell mode is because the cell doors, the Brightstone Cave cell doors, those rampagers, they're vast and they're vicious. They're just super zombies, basically, but they start to appear way more often now. Yeah, one of the Brightstone Cave Seldoras has a new route in it, and that is the only thing that's going to make this type of this whole plan with the rose keys work. Frontline shield, nah. Bleed shield is pretty much the only one that I would probably even consider dropping the Alchemic Carbine for. But if it happens to come up, if the price is right, I am perfectly willing to take that on. Oh, these things, the Weirded Warriors, like I said, are they can block projectiles very easily. They can't block poison though. That's actually something they share with like using the Electric Whip, for example. The ability to continue to hit through their defenses, even though, you know, they can block most types of stuff in the game. Same thing with like Pyrotechnics, which I kind of have on the back burner in case it wants to show up. In case it feels like showing up. Because that will throw down like the fire on the ground, adding to everything that I'm doing. And there we go. Finally, we get to unravel the mystery of me not getting hit by a slasher, 1, but 2, getting into here, which there should be an entrance. Is it here? Yeah, there we go. Right here. And then you use the rose keys, the gardener's keys, to open up that, so I can grab the moonflower key. Like I said, this is only something you can do on 3-cell mode, because you can now choose which boss you want to fight between the Conjunctivius and the Concierge. And I'm going to have to go fight the Conjunctivius. That's what I'm talking about, where I wanted to have a good ranged run. Fighting her in melee is tough. It is not easy, and it is not recommended. I'm going to be honest here. Yeah, maybe like Grinder would be nice, or Cleaver. He used to be called Grinder. Look, we're working on Tralmaphidorian naming conventions here, where I honestly cannot tell what things are named because it changes so much. So it goes and all that. All right. So you're obviously seeing that we're seeing a lot more elites in the game now, and that is going to continue on into the future. Sure, for the extra stats. It's not like I'm getting any brutality right now. Oh, I've been so blessed with every other thing that I've gotten in this run that it's like, that's the thing I want to complain about. Hey, get the mark on you. Oh, and I should see what that lore room is. If I'm going to make this a little bit of a lore-based episode, at least later on, I might as well try to see if there's anything new, if there's anything that I haven't seen while doing my extensive grinding sessions earlier. It's really starting to get there. I mean, one of the things that you'll notice on 3-cell difficulty is that the things that start to get mostly unlocked from enemies become outfits now. There is... yes. They're just celebrating another one of Bertha Bash down there. How would you know? And get a free item there, but I don't need that. I mean, this is a very easy way to enable any sort of like poison synergy, and that's actually something that I should be doing. Getting the double crossbow-matic that I have to get like 100% on poison should really save up some money for that alone, because it's going to be paying a lot of dividends in the future if I can possibly get that. I mean, overall, if you're taking like this route through the game, you do get a lot of... Huh. You do get a lot of... Oh, okay. I'm just so blessed. You do get a lot of choice as to which boss you're going to fight. Because now that I've opened up the giant in the... Now that I've opened up the giant and the cavern entirely, there's a lot of other places that now allow you access into either the giant fight or the cavern, or, you know, the giant fight by extension of going into the cavern. Stuff like stuff like the Slumbering Sanctuary. Okay. Careful, careful. Stuff like the Slumbering Sanctuary now has an entrance into the cavern. Stuff like the Sepulchre has an entrance into the giant fight. it is pretty convenient. But it's pretty convenient, especially now that you don't have to go through the graveyard every single time. But also, at the same time, it's like, I think I would rather just go fight the Timekeeper right now. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own, and this is definitely going to be very great against her. Especially working with, like, turrets and everything, too. She gets wrecked pretty hard by a good tactics run, and this is the closest that you can get to that with a brutality run, well, without getting an extreme amount of colorless items. You can get, like, you can turn everything colorless as a option in, as like a game mode and custom mode if you really wanted to, but please tell me I'm doing something below me. But, you know, also, that is, like, one of the things I was trying to do with this run is make sure that I can get my cool Chivos. I know they don't matter, I like to get them anyway. And you can't really do that if you're going like the full electric whip type of build that I was doing before, where I had basically everything turned off. God, it's nice having all those having all the runes now. You can really start to bypass some of the areas just by climbing up the walls. I do believe this is going to be a food shop, but to be honest, I want to kind of keep what I'm working with right now. Because, like I said, I am about to go fight the Conjunctivius, and might be a better idea to kind of like wait off on, see if I can maybe upgrade my Hokuto's bow once. That would be really nice to get here. Or if I can upgrade my Hokuto's bow, and actually, you know what? Instead of upgrading my Hokuto's bow, let's just say I'm gonna go try and get my turret to have a little bit better statage on it potentially. The turret's not going to be useful for anything except for the tentacles on the ground, because the Conjunctivius has to be on the same, like, X-axis to be hit by the turret. But that'll still help out in those secondary phases anyway. What am I even unlocking here? Maybe what I should be doing is probably saving this up for the Forge upgrades? Wait, no, I don't actually have any Forge upgrades to get. I don't know, whatever. My hunter's outfits, I guess. They're good. They're cool looking. Perfect. Not enough money, though. Close to enough money, but not enough. I could maybe also look at, like, getting some sort of special affix on here, like leaves something on the ground. I don't know. But that's also, like, not super helpful. Now that I have no more potion charges, you can also start to take tainted flasks. More elites are appearing here. It's not a bad idea, but I'm not going to be using that for right now. I'm instead going to be going Dead Inside if I want to go full-on tankiness. This is also the point in time that I really like taking a lot more defensive mutations. If I wanted to go like full offense, combo can actually be good, because the base damage for the Alchemic Carbine is 241 DPS, and then after I kill an enemy, it's 850, you know, it's over 1,000, which is a big-ish hit. I would like to take something like Adrenaline or Frenzy, but that requires melee stuff, and yeah. Vengeance also not a bad idea, but I think let's be proactive rather than trying to plan to get hit in some way. Grab Disengagement. You know, it's always a pretty good option in the game. Lets you kind of disengage, go heal. Like if things are going very badly very quickly, you can recover from that. So yeah, I don't have as many. Oh, come on now. I don't have as many stats as I would normally like to have, but hey. You have like poison resistance or something? Come on, man. Yeah, there we go. I guess you need to get her. It's not just the initial hit. You have to get her kind of like going through the poison cloud a little bit, which is not easier said than done sometimes. But yeah, like the map should be. God, I don't even know where I wanted to use this map at this point in time. I took it because I wanted to show it off. You know, it just does give you a complete map of the area and everything. But yeah, what's like the best opportunity? Let's just use it in the next area and call it a day, I suppose. At least map-wise. Start to get some good items. Start to get some good items otherwise and not worry about hauling this thing around for some purpose. I mean, it's nice to have it like in the castle, but It's not nice to have to get into the castle with that alone. Every single time, the pattern is the same. Dash, poison, and if she's near you, she might decide to instead pull out like her melee attack, but that's, you know, really you just gotta work on dash poison. And this is that type of move that I was really hoping that I was gonna see last time. The bullet hell attack. Much like the crystals from the giants, it's very hard to dodge that, but you can't just take, say, masochism like last time. And even if you did, you tend to get hit enough times that it doesn't really matter too much. And now I am just getting all kinds of tentacled. Good. And it's not as good, but acceptable. I am going to the graveyard. The graveyard does have a food shop. So, worst comes to worst, I will probably be able to get a food shop if I'm not going to outright die here. I do have the YOLO mutation. The YOLO mutation is also just a kind of worst comes to worst, I'll survive. Oh, great. Well, worst comes to worst might be coming right now. That's why I've got this engagement too. Don't get hit by the spikes. Good. Not the easiest fight, but as you can see, it's like, as far as prepping up goes, this is all right. I mean, normally you'd be able to go into the... If I went through, like, the sewer route, went into the corrupted sewers instead, and, like, no, well, as much as I would like to get pyrotechnics right now, not really a thing. Yeah, if I went through, like, the sewers route, I could still go into the corrupted sewers, get all those stats, and then be able to make it into the ramparts and kind of take this same sort of... You know what, better safe than sorry. And kind of take the same sort of route through here, but since I'm going for the Moonflower keys, it's gotta be this way. It's not optimal, but it's workable. It is a workable solution. Finally get at least one thing. I know, I'm complaining so much, and it's like, I've already been so blessed this run. Yeah. Cool. Alright, I could try to upgrade my Hokuto's bow right now. I think the better option is going to be... Alright, I do have some stuff that I can throw this into. I could also maybe like save it for the end of the run, but I'm still kind of questionable on my chances of making it out of here. Well, anyway, yeah, it's like I could try upgrading my Hokuto's bow. I think I would rather save up for an upgrade in this area if I possibly can. Also, more curses and everything in here, too. And these zombies, which are just nightmares to deal with curses. To be honest, I might instead just wait until the next... Like, wait until I'm just about to go into the next area and then go take all the cursed chests, just because... Oof. It's, I don't want to die here because those zombies... Because, like, the host zombies run directly into me when they have their electro shield out. Oh, host zombies. Oh, yeah, let's also, like, use this here. Hooray, I've been initiated. Very nice. Got that sheer cliff there, going at a 90-degree angle. And, yeah, it's looking good. There's a curse chest that I'm talking about. Alright, well, anyway. Yeah, so what was I saying here? Yeah, host zombies. Hey, sometimes you get the good hosts, like a green blobbo man. Sometimes you get bad hosts, like a bunch of bugs. Frankly, I would rather be, well, I would rather not be dead, but, you know. I guess, hey, at least Green Blobbo Man is, doing pretty good. Being effectively immortal, taking over It's just unfortunate that he's unable to apparently possess any bodies that actually have a mouth. Oh, sure, all of the other host zombies seemingly find them so easily, but Green Blob Man does not get any of that. No, I'm not going to worry about Rampart right now. Just going to keep focusing on, like, getting through here, and especially, much like last time, I do have to go search the walls to see if I can find the next Moonflower key. I need to exchange each one of the Gardener's keys for Moonflower keys, and that's just actually the only way that I'm going to be able to get all this. But hey, having, like, careful. Having, like, the flamethrower turret and everything here, that does mean that I am going to be able to get even double extra damage over time working here, and that's even more DPS for me. In other words, it's working out quite well right now. Flamethrower turret also does pretty commonly get the trap spreads inflammable oil, which is great for just giving a buff up on its own weapon. It's kind of like having the combination of the fire and oil grenades just in one. Get out of here, you. I don't really know if there's going to be anything here worthwhile for a chest. It would tell me if it was a cursed chest just by looking at the thing, but who knows? Maybe I'll get, not that, an upgrade for the Hokuto's bow, which is kind of what I'm hoping for right now. Because that's what I need more than anything else. Well, not really too much else going on here unless I want to go for the 60 kills, but yeah, that's not really all that much of a concern of mine right now. Tear him down. All right, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Always make sure to exploit the grabbing stats for invulnerability. If you see an enemy about to attack you, that's a good way to not have that scenario I just described occur. The enemy attacking you. This is also a good time to maybe talk about like one of the other mechanics that exists in the game that I've been exploiting a lot, you know, or consciously, subconsciously, but it's one of those things you don't really think about until you start to get a little bit farther. That's called breach. You can, if you do enough damage to an enemy, you can give them like a little micro stun. You know, breach their defenses, I guess is the name of that. And basically, that means that if you are going in with like a melee attack, you can just like go in very, very hard. And if you have enough damage, you can probably, I already saw that one. Preview of the cavern. Yeah, if you just go in very, very hard with melee attacks, you can actually get enemies to just kind of give up the ghost by hitting them enough and then making sure that they're stun locked, completely unable to attack. What? Is that like a... It looks like a sign that would normally appear in a shop. Yeah, why is it so far away? Is this game breaking down before my very eyes? Ooh, you know, I don't get the inflammable oil, but that minus 25% damage, I mean, this is one of the reasons why like deployable items have just absolutely amazing affixes with them. That's not even a rare affix. But yeah, also poison, even though, you know, the poison is not really that good. It works better for the sort of build that I'm going with right now. Getting extra stats. I mean, if you get enough stats on anything, I was about to die to that. If you get enough stats on anything, yeah, anything in the game can become, like, overpowered. If you're looking at, like, 40 stats, or as somebody posted in the previous episode, like, 50 stats somebody was able to get, that's a lot of cursed chests and a lot of challenge rifts, but it's not impossible. It's like you can just absolutely, like, anything, literally anything becomes amazing. I'm not going to be able to afford anything in the food shop here. I mean, I guess you for the big heal, but not really the most important right now. Besides, I need to still go find the Moonflower key. Can't forget about that. That is, you know, the secondary objective to actually beating the run and getting the 4th boss cell, but it is one to, well, good thing I spent that much money on that, eh? Luigi. Good, and that was a, it was very close to getting hit by that slasher. Also, dang. Good. Hey, they can't hit inside of your inside of their shield. I mean, they can punch you, but that's not, you know, exactly what I meant. Be careful around the spike balls. I don't need to get hit by those guys anymore. Yeah, spike balls, they're my guys. You know how it is. We all got friends like that, right? Spike balls. Come on, I know one of these things has a container of cells in here, and even though there's not too much more to unlock, I mean, get some of those cool outfits, I guess. Also, yeah, I did manage to get to the 70 kills. All those rats are very helpful for making that happen. They're so populous, especially at this point in the game, that, yeah, it's kind of silly. Okay, come on. Where is the Moonflower key? It's not going to show up on the map, but it is going to be somewhere underground. Well, trapped chests are a good source of extra cells, I suppose. That's the only good thing about them, and once you have everything unlocked, it doesn't really matter too much. But until then, it's actually great. It's a nice, helpful type of thing. You just look around in the ceiling and floors, the windows, the walls, etc. Try to find this mystery key. Because it's somewhere around here. You might have already seen it. It's just, let me tell you, I didn't. If only I did, we could just leave for the next area right now. It's like even with the getting initiated into the secrets of the architects or whatever, not enough to tell me where the Moonflower key is, eh? Well, as always, you only got to do this once, and then you're able to have these doors unlocked forever. But that's only cold comfort for the time being, because I don't have it unlocked right now. Oh, by the way, you can duck underneath these things. There's actually quite a few types of attacks that you can just kind of duck under. It's and you can. There are some bows that you can fire while crouching. I do not think that this is considered like in that sort of class. The alchemic carbine is not really considered a bow. Oh no, you can. Huh. So I guess never mind then. Maybe I should have checked that before making that sort of bold proclamation. Maybe. Oh, come on. Where is this thing now? Okay, you know what? I think I'm going to cut until I actually find it, unless it's in like 5 seconds. Oh, man. This thing was very well hidden. Jeez. Oh, yeah. You can barely even see right on the side there. And it was in one of those areas that was kind of off the beaten path, too. Jeez. Okay, well, that's what I'm looking for, though. Let's get into the sepulcher already. But first, let's go grab the curse chest. Yeah, just look for that vegetation growing on the wall when it comes to trying to find some of these areas, because they are surprisingly well hidden. Nah, you can get a lot of stacks of bleeding on there, but it's infrequent because of the amount of the cooldown that it has. And I think that, yeah, sepulcher though should be the safer place to be taking care of this. A lot less host zombies, a lot more very tightly packed up like trackers, which should be going down very quickly to this type of build. Well, he's got the 60 kills. Spent so long messing around trying to get the that last Moonflower key. Yeesh. Anyway, time bespoke, of course. Still not enough to do that. Yeah, one of the great things about the Hokuto's bow is that if it does get something like it releases a cloud of poison or just straight out poisons the enemy, it can almost work as if it's a combination of the alchemic carbine Hokuto's bow. It is one of my most used items in the game because it's so powerful. It is just that good. No, not enough lore. Should be more lore. I don't like this. Okay. Hey, come on, man. Just let me do my thing here. And also, don't die when you get cursed to the... You also don't die when you get cursed. If you're cursed and you take darkness damage. So that's also another reason why it's actually... provided that... I suppose the weirded warriors actually do make it a little bit more questionable to kind of come in here purely to try to get rid of curses, but oh boy. Well, that's why you got that funky well, actually the heart doesn't really protect you for too long. It protects you for a very minimal amount of time before you just start taking damage again. Disengagement, I think darkness also goes through disengagement. So, yeah, don't try to rely on that thing. Not that I would want to anyway, but, I was saying that it's just like, hey, as long as you go through here fast, it's fine. And I stick by that. It's just... always have an exit route. Okay, there we go. It's the third key, much easier to find this time. Now get me out of here before I start taking more darkness damage. Yeah. I want to find some place where I can get a pretty easy, or I can get like pretty easy 10 enemies to kill. There should be some around here because now that I have the 3-cell door open in this area, that contains a curse chest. And as you know, curse chests, great for stats, but make sure, once again, you have an exit plan. I do think this should qualify very much so as an exit plan, so let's get in here. I already got all 3 of the keys. I mean, I should be good to go. Just grab that and hopefully take care of it lickety-split. What you always want to avoid with that is accidentally creating a scenario where you only have 10 enemies, say, like, behind a... where you have only, like, 10 enemies behind a big trap hallway that you have to get through. Not that it's impossible or anything like that. I mean, it's not that difficult to take care of those things. It's just... ugh. God, I hope I'm not about to get body slammed by... oh, cool. Well, I'm not about to get body slammed by a zombie right now. I'm just going to leave in case I am about to be body slammed by etc. Stuff like the Rampagers, they don't teleport to you. They will just jump up and down trying to attack you constantly. And it's a worrying thing to see that. And I was wondering if they had the same sort of abilities there, where they would just body slam their way into me dying a lot. Okay. No, I guess I didn't mark that one. Interesting. Let's kind of wait for the weirded warrior and the second guy to get out of there, and then I will go drop down and try to take care of this curse. It is important to be careful, especially on this mode. To this point, I think I'm actually going to take another potion charge right now. Sure, I might be able to find some sort of... that was not exactly what I wanted. That was closer to what I wanted. That should do it. Okay. And that will also probably be the last curse that I take in the game, unless I get blessed with another cursed chest, which can happen, certainly. But, you know, blessing and a curse and all that. Need I say more? All right, at this point in time, my soldier's endurance is giving me 25% extra HP. It's not the same as the 75% that you get in Dead Inside, but at least I can still use food. And then combine that with like disengagement, the heart. I'm actually looking pretty good as far as not dying goes. For now. For now. And this is good, and this is actually a pretty good build even for going up against the giant. You just need to go hit both of his hands with the mark and then get all that poison on there, but that's... God, I feel like that's a little bit riskier than I want to go. He is the tougher of the two bosses that you can fight for good reason. Even though he is opened up right now, and I could go get like some more cool outfits from him. I'd really prefer not to. Really prefer not to continue to put myself at risk for that. As it is, I'm doing just fine right now. No complaints. Biters, the pyrotechnics, nothing that I'm really all that worried about. Well, I mean, yeah, if any of these things were scaling with brutality, I guess I would be okay with taking it, but not quite the case now, is it? You know, it didn't even register in my mind. What was the item that I got from the curse chest? I mean, unless it was something very good, I guess it just kind of in one ear out the other, but still it makes me wonder if I got rid of something that might have been worth taking, just because, like, I'm so used to being in tactics mode, which is what I've been doing all the cell grinding stuff in. Good. Killing elites here is important, because they do open up permanent light sources. Sure. Gold as well as the cell is also a great way to get a lot of gold. Can't go wrong with that. Masterpiece is all. 7 more enemies left. Sure, the 60 kills. Yeah. Also, speaking of outfits, I do have on the Aphrodite outfit on. You know, the channel colors. Because with the increased difficulty in enemies around here, it's very easy to go and find the Bombardiers, the improved version of the Grenadier guys that I've been fighting up to this point, and that's who drops this outfit. Thought I'd just make it, you know, the channel theme. Why not? I think it's a good choice. Good. Speaking of good choices, That's a 60. And that's the extra healing that I would have liked to have had earlier. Wow. Waluigi time. No, it's never Waluigi time in this household. I won't allow it. And yeah, you can see right over here. This would be the entrance to the giant fight. And I mean, I could certainly go do it, but I'm not going to. That's, sure, this would be a good time to do it, but I also don't want to lose progress on the everything I have right now is good for fighting. Yeah, I think I'm fine. Everything I have right now is good for fighting the timekeeper, so there's no reason to put myself at extra risk just to do that. Besides, to get the whole Moonflower key thing working, I kind of do need to go and get into the castle anyway. So even just going for that for like a short little jaunt through to the end of the game is not really worth it. All right, extra ammo. Ammo mutation might not apply, but you can still get the ammo +3 on it. It's not anything like super amazing there, but it is a much more powerful version of what I had before, which will hopefully show very obviously in this fight. All right. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Look at the power. Look at the raw power before she could even do her cutscene and go into her second phase. Taken down. And is this going to work well against the Hand of the King? Hand of the King might block shots. He can't block poison with his hands. That's just not a thing he can do. So, yeah. I think that we're going to be looking pretty good. And yeah, that's the important thing where it's like, you want to make sure that you have that Hokuto's bow upgraded. Because that's the sort of thing you can expect out of it. It's incredible, isn't it? Very nice. Very, very nice. Even though it has poisons the enemy on it, not really all that necessary. I think I'm going to try to re-roll it to get poisons, or to get 100% on poison. Generates Toxic Cloud, that's okay. There you go. Flames, too, also kind of gives the same sort of utility as the previous thing. It's like, yeah, no, this is what I was hoping for. This is what you can expect out of this type of build, and which is why it's the one that I would recommend you take more than anything else. I mean, there's few times that I would say that some builds are kind of overpowered-ish, but it's like this would be one of them. I mean, I'm just thinking back to like Undermine, for example, where it's just the absolute perfect type of build that you can have. You're doing the Siegfried's Aegis, which I don't ever know if I mentioned during that. It's like that is supposed to be a Soul Calibur reference, right? Yeah, it's like you get like the Doomblade, and what more can you ask for? This is kind of like the Doomblade build of that game. Well, the Doomblade Siegfried's Aegis. Blitzing down every enemy in a single hit. Don't like take a War Spear straight to the face, though. That's maybe something that you want to avoid. But yeah, to get a nice little example of legendary items. You can take 2 of the same legendary item. Not really true unless you click that box in custom mode otherwise. It's not something that comes up too often, and certainly not one where you get 2 colorless items that are two colorless versions of this to use them with a build that you normally would not be able to even touch this sort of thing with. It's like, yeah, no, it's lucky, but it was also very much planned. I was expecting this sort of thing to happen from the very beginning. So it's, I gotta say, you know, everything is working out as planned. Just as Keikaku, which means planned. As opposed to Teigi, which means more like, you know, a generalized. It's a type of plan that you, it's more of a plot than a plan. A plan is like a plan you make with friends. That's Teigi? Am I right about that? Or is it Yote? Yeah, whatever. Old memes, kids. Look them up if you really care. Do have to be careful around the Guardian Knights because, like I said, if you don't have a shield, those things will kill you. Those things will just outright murder you. They do so much damage, and you really can't get away from them. As the Rampagers doing their whole steez. Gotta watch out for those guys. They're not the most fun dudes to encounter. Good, good, and that's 2 keys. Really, I don't need all 3 keys. All I need to do is just find the place to use the Moonflower keys and then get out of here. I should be fine even without the maximum amount of stats that I can possibly get. But, if I... Oh, well, I do still need to find the place to use the Moonflower keys, though. I mean, I did the entire thing. Ah, you... Also hit him with the thing already. Yeah, he's got that... Those Royal Guards. They... well, I guess we're going to go for the 3 keys, then. Yeah, the place that I'm looking for specifically is... the same thing as that one area prior to this that I pointed out, where there was just kind of like a secret wall that you went through and a bunch of areas that required Moonflower keys. I mean, okay, this is all pretty obvious, I suppose. It did actually just say what you needed to get into that part. Should just be in the regular castle. Should not be anywhere around like the inner areas or whatever, but I mean, I'm not going to be sticking around here to explore them fully anyway. Alright, gotta be somewhere around here. It's pretty obvious when you find it, but it's still frustrating that I'm going to have to like be going around quite a bit here to even locate this thing. Hey, you only got to do it once, and then I get that blueprint committed, turned in forever. Thank you throws down a bomb affix when you roll, pushing that guy off the edge there, which is kind of amusing. Spinning makes you immune to projectiles, and that still is true. I guess it's not here. Well, yeah, that's usually the sort of wall you'd be looking for to try and find them. No, nothing. All right. So, I mean, all I gotta do is just find that, and then I'm out of here. There's no reason to stick around. Especially because, like I said, the Guardian Knights will kill me. Will kill me with no problem at all. They don't even have any... They don't have any issue just doing that, after all. So if I can avoid it, that'd be pretty nice. Whoa, don't go directly up into the everything. My God. What have I done? Get out, get out, get out. You too. Okay. A little worrying there for a second, but I made it work. Just gotta get those mad moves working here. Don't let the hands do the work. Well, not that awe. Slight awe. Tiny awe. Single yike. Anything? Come on. I know it's around here somewhere. It is a 100% guaranteed thing in every single every single time you get this generated. No, let's just talking about the boxes full of crystals and everything. Which I have, I mean, I've already seen that. Just, more of a preview if you hadn't seen the cavern at this point in time. Also, a little bit more of an explanation of what exactly they might be doing with some of the crystals. Oh, well, I'm glad I didn't get killed there, but oof, could I have gotten killed there if I decided to be like, oh, I'll be fine if I just roll forward. It's like, no, you won't, though. Okay, here we go, finally. Get an item here, and there it is. Acceptance. Giving you half as much curse, but eating food also curses you, which can be a little bit of a benefit. Combined with the alienation mutation, yes, that I got through my grinding exploits. It's like that can actually be a very easy way to heal yourself a lot over the course of a game, especially as you don't really have too many options for like potion charges or anything at this point. No, it's a good idea. That said, I do think that I am going to take a potion charge right now just to... I shouldn't even need 2 of them if this goes right. Probably. Maybe. Turn it in, like throw it on here. That is one of the harder mutations you're going to get in the game. Most of the mutations that are high level cell only are outfits. But that's one of the few that isn't. And then a couple of them you need to have max cell difficulty because, well, the door that you see at the end of this area. Alright. Got a lot of poison. Got a lot of damage over time. Got a lot of really good damage just from this alone. No perfect fight. That's okay. 2, 3. Oh, come on. There we go. That's actually, yeah. He is very, very susceptible to damage over time, like every enemy in the game, I suppose. That's something. Also, you know, I maybe could have tried to get one of the enemies to fall on top of him as he was falling down, which does a pretty good chunk of his damage and is also pretty funny. But, was entirely unnecessary. Use this build. Use this build, man. It's great. Yoink. And sock it to me. So there's the boss for cell 4. Oh boy, oh boy. You ready to see the next big hurdle in the game? Because there you are. That's what we're looking at. And yes, the blueprints do get turned in automatically, in case you were wondering. After that fight. It's otherwise it would be very frustrating to have that happen like that. And because somebody was asking about this last time, I'm going to show you my general like route for... I do have 40. You know what? I don't know. That's fine if I get rid of the 40 cells. Because I know the grinding strategy. Basically, here's what... In between each episode, here's what I've been doing. I'm taking the electric whip because, you know, enemies are packed up pretty tight. And you can hit a lot of them with the electric whip. Turn everything off here. We're just going to turn on U2 because they're just two good items. Turn everything off, everything else off, everything else off. And then, like, parry shield just for stats. Because that's a decent shield. It scales with tactics and everything. Just go with that. Not going to be unlocking any achievements, but this is for cell grinding alone. Here's, like, almost the exact sort of thing that I do whenever it comes to trying to get the most out of that. I mean, technically I would go on 4 cell because you get 3 times more cells. But also, like, it's more difficult, and we're going to save that for next time. So for right now, let's just go here. And then let's go whatever has, like, the most stats on it. Yeah. Yeah. That's also actually, like, a really good distribution of stats, too. Even, like, a really good heavy turret. No, this is a nice start here. And then we just start killing everything as fast as possible. Remember that the electric whip, you can hang in the air, and enemies have trouble dealing with you when you're in the air. That is an important part of kind of like utilizing this entire thing. Just like jump up and start wildly swinging your whip around, and you will be able to like get 30 kills actually in a shockingly short amount of time, provided that you're not getting completely wrecked by a lot of the rampages. And then all you gotta do is just do this for 10 hours, and you'll have as many cells as I do. Obsession? I don't know what you're talking about. There's 20 kills already. Remember, you want to try to do this before you get the 2 minutes, so that you can get both of the cell doors. That's an extra 40 cells, which is in the very first area here, gonna net you like 60 cells. 60 cells, first area. And that's all you need to do, really. And I would like to go, if possible, get into the promenade, because I think that's kind of the best area. And you know what? Sure, I haven't seen this lore door yet, I think. Hey. What do you mean? Yeah, well, fine. You do also get this here, which is pretty nice. Okay, well, get to the end of the area. Basically, yes. Good. And also, like, a very quick one, too. So that's even better. And here's the thing. You can actually just quit right now. You can just quit and start up a new run, and then you're good, basically. That's like, all you need to do to get a good amount of cell grinding just at the very start alone. Like I said, I got 60 cells right now. And I could have probably even, like, went around in that area a little bit longer and killed, like, some more rats, got even more cells than that. But, like, yeah. Corruptible, etc. Yeah. And let's just give one quick thing. I have enough gold to make that work. However, if you're trying to go for the Forge, that's a little bit different. And I would definitely recommend going for some very defensive mutations. Heart, Dead Inside, and the Disengagement are like the best ones that you can use, because you are going to be really living on the edge when it comes to getting... when it comes to your health and everything. Either way, if you get like the right stat distribution, and obviously, you know, like the shield that I'm working with, as well as the whip itself, does you know, might be like, you know, a lot of survival and brutality stats. But if you get the right stuff, or if you just re-roll for it or find new items, it's like, yeah, this is pretty easy. And then like same thing in this area, it's fairly easy to get the 60 kills. I mean, to the point that you really don't even need to dip down into... Oh, I was... For some reason, I was thinking that I was still using the Hokuto's bow. Anyway. Yeah, still pretty easy to get the 60 kills. You don't even need to, like, dip down into the underground. The 2-cell door in this area, if you are on, like, a 2-cell or above, you don't necessarily need to be. You can still get, like, a lot of good grinding out, even on 0-cell mode. It's like you can just... same sort of thing. Exactly what I was talking about before. I don't know. I forgot what I was saying. You don't need to do this on 2-cell mode to get the 2-cell door. It's just that is a few extra cells that are pretty helpful. Obviously, the bug zapper here making short work of any of the flying enemies. Not even a problem to take these things down. And you can kind of group up all of the teleporting dudes. Okay, fine. I can also just do this too. Remember, enemies have a hard time hitting you in the air. That is an important thing when it comes to dealing with like very aggressive, very fast enemies like these guys. Or get them in the water. Have them teleport into the water and then zap them to get some really good damage. Stunning too. It's can't go wrong. There you go. So yeah, I mean that's like another easy way, and since you do need to get to the first boss in the game, I would always recommend the Concierge. Pretty easy one to fight. And it's like this will get you a lot of the stuff that you really need to upgrade your forge as well. That Minotaur scroll, it's like I don't really care about much of anything aside from damage. Although I will at least make an attempt to go and get the 60 kills. It should be pretty easy, and the next time door is 8 minutes, so I actually have quite a while comparatively. Not even like half the time down just yet. So as long as I don't get hit. And this is a nice ranged run. Takes enemies down real fast. So it shouldn't be too big of a deal to make that happen. As long as I'm careful. Yeah, 50 right now. Oh, there's the 2-cell door. Good. That's even more cells to be grinding up. All right. Almost 60 once again. Although it has, like I said, it's only 2 minutes to get to the first door, and I got that in like 1 in-game time minute. You can also get more stats if you, or more scrolls and... No, not stats, not scrolls. You can also get more of the... Good. You can also get more cells if you find like trap chests. Also, if you find a challenge rift too, so keep a lookout for those if you feel like it. But you know, if you're looking at just like purely on cells per second, let's go through the first area reset. First area reset, but this is for the forge, since the forge, you know, does require a lot of cells to go. Then if you just want to rush to the end and throw in all your cells, it's like I do think that you can probably... If you just want to rush to the end, throw in all your cells, you can probably just go through the upper route. Or maybe even if you feel like it, go and take the map and just figure out exactly where you need to go and not even mess around in each one of these areas. If you find it quick enough, I can imagine that being fairly good. You can even also use like the Hunter's Grenade during this too, because for the most part, you're going to be like fine with damage, even despite that. The Concierge is not a very difficult customer to fight, so you'll probably be fine, especially if you're using like even a single turret, and especially if you're like going through and making sure that you get all of the stats you possibly can. But as you can see right now, oh, that's a new type of enemy too. Rampagers and bombers start appearing. Bombers are very irritating to fight, and only become more populous as you're getting higher up into the boss cells. Also, yeah, like I said, you know, enemies are so packed up now. Meh. You can actually duck underneath that, by the way. You don't even have to just roll out of it. They have melee, they throw a bomb at you, everything like that. They're very frustrating because they are one of the enemies that will follow you around. Usually you can just kind of bypass enemies by running right by them. I'm not taking a cursed chest. If I'm not even bothering taking like the Minotaur scrolls that don't have tactic stats on them, why bother, you know, having the run end a little bit prematurely just because I decide to get cursed for one pretty minor extra little stat? All right, and then, yeah, going for the 60 kills once again. You just gotta be cautious and make sure that you are paying attention to where all the enemies are. When it comes to dead cells, making sure that you have pretty good awareness of what's happening around you, really making sure tunnel vision will lead you to your untimely demise in dead cells, even more so than a lot of other games. But yeah, it's like a kind of paying attention, especially as enemies get even more jam-packed into here, is just absolutely essential. You cannot get away with not doing that. But yeah, it's like a little bit slower, but like I said, you can't get into the Forge without beating the first boss. So if you are doing Forge grinding, this is, as far as I know, the best way to do it. I don't know. Maybe you can get, maybe there's some better way, but I certainly do not know it. Okay. Well, I mean, it is worth fighting elites. Elites are also more cells, so no reason not to go for it if possible. Also, you know, they're very likely going to be attracted to you, teleporting to you anyway. But yeah, it's like you can also continue to do this sort of like strategy on 4-cell mode to get even more cells, because like I said, it goes from even more tightly packed enemies, even more tightly packed, as well as extra cell drops just in general. Enemies can be dropping 3 cells at a time in that mode, and that can be a big difference. Extra cells, like I said, no reason not to, really. Then done, and sure. The more power equals better power. Why not? And really, I'm gonna try to go for the 60 kills. If I find the exit here, I'm just gonna leave. I do not need to hang around for this, to be honest. Okay, good. Yeah, like a weak weapon like this is not really going to be breaching a whole lot, like I was talking before, but if you want to go for like a little bit more powerful type of munitions, you can probably get some more usage out of it. You can probably get like some better stuff going on, but as far as like stunning enemies, making sure they're not going to attack you, or just utilize the shield. Hey, I brought a shield with me for good reason. Yeah, it's too many survival points. I don't need survival. I will die in 1 hit, but that's why I took the... Well, not literally 1 hit, but I will die in 2 hits. But that's why I took the heart mutation in the first place. A legendary item up here, buffing these enemies up. What is it? Explosive crossbow. That's a good item. Could probably justify using it, to be honest, but whatever. I'm still not done with this area just yet. I don't even have my 60 kills. Once I get to 60 kills, maybe. So currently at about 155. It's like I've gotten, 300 or 400 cells if I'm being very, very meticulous going through each of the areas. And if I get lucky getting like a trap chest or challenge rifts. It's like in a single run, you can actually knock out quite a bit of each of the things. Because not only is there the 2-cell door in the... Yeah. No, okay, there's 60. Because not only is there the 2-cell door in the promenade, as well as like the 60 kill door after this, there's also the complete in 15... There's also the 15-minute door after the concierge fight. as well as the flawless boss fight that you can do as well, getting you a lot of cells. Other bosses don't have, like, like, aside from what, the Conjunctivius, you don't have the time doors for each thing, so it's just the flawless fight, and Concierge is a very easy fight to flawless. It's good like that. Not a very fast area to go through, but I don't really need to worry too much about fighting everything now that I got my cool 69 kills. Nice. So let's just focus on running. Just Bruce Springsteen your way out of here. You ever hear like you ever listen to like Nevada? That's a good album. All right. So yeah, I mean, it's like this sort of thing. If I do like this sort of thing like 5-6 more times, I will have a full 200% damage versus 100. I'll take it. I'll have a full 100% completed Legendary Forge. Simple as that. It's good. He's good. And you know what? Let's take something that's going to give me extra damage here. I'm not too worried about... I mean, disengagement is probably best, in case you do get hit in this fight. But I also have the heart for that, too. And really, I am planning to not get hit. So more DPS, the better. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Oh, yeah, the little micro stun that you get from the heavy turret is actually doing something there. Oh, no. Gotten a little close there, but it's okay. Yeah, this one should be fine. And on 3-cell difficulty, should start going into its jumping phase a little bit faster, if I'm not incorrect. Which means that you're less likely to get hit by the... damage field attack, which is good for me because that tends to be the thing that I get hit by, if any, attack by this dude. Good, and that should do it. I said that should do it. Come on. There's the extra cells, a lot of gold in case you did spend gold during the course of that run, and stats, but I don't really care about stats. I didn't even mention the entire the whole scroll fragments. Yeah, each one of the scroll fragment holding things has like a specific number of cells on it. You'll see like 3 and 4, and that's when they unlock. That's pretty much it. What's a legendary item? It's okay. It's not really anything super great, and also I don't even really need to bother selling it, but I did it anyway. So yeah, then you can just throw all your cells in there, but obviously don't really have the ability to do that right now. So let's instead just I guess get acceptance. Start filling out some of these outfits that I got here. Yeah. Okay, yeah, and then that's going to be pretty much everything, aside from doing the actual showcase deal. Dang it, give me 1 second. Okay, it's not even the worst thing that I forgot to do the whole showcase deal, because now that I can get into the sewers and show off this blueprint here that I've been neglecting for a while. There we go. Spite, another new shield-based one. And then just go grab a bunch of these, and then let's start unlocking so many items. I know y'all love this part of the episode, right? You love it. You love it. Anyway. An ethereal door is actually a new thing to get. Going to be, that is going to be included in the blueprint collection part of the episode. You'll see exactly how you do it. Basically, you got to go find a lore room in the Slumbering Sanctuary. And aside from that, a lot of this stuff opens up with, stuff like the bombers actually starting to appear in the game. Seismic Strike. The mutation that I got, Adrenaline, is from the I should actually go and look at all the mutations just to kind of kind of say where I'm getting all of those ones. I don't get Spite, which they also got all these outfits here, which before I was unlocking immediately, But now I've kind of like left a few of them in here so you can actually see the dumb lore associated with it. Music references. Yeah, the traditional. I mean, the traditional Dungeoneer's outfit, of course, is actually a red scarf and beige pants. Yep. Piccolo Concierge outfit, just a dumb reference to Dragon Ball. Fisherman's outfit. Oh yeah, I should probably also be going through each one of these things too. Nobody, of course. I do. Pure Purple. Cardis, I believe, is one of the developers, so... yeah. And then more of the temporal outfits and everything. And then one Hand of the King outfit. As you can see, a lot of them are just like stuff that you that's great. A lot of them are just ones that you get by beating up bosses. And that is really probably like the majority of stuff. Anyway, it's Knockback. Knockback is not that useful. It does scale with tactics, so it's good for that sort of deal, but I don't know. Fire Blast is fun. You just like start shouting fire. Start spitting hot fire. It's okay, but you can't really move around using it, so I don't know if I would really recommend using it a whole lot, even in like a damage over time type of run. War Javelin, throw it, does knockback, does big damage if it hits an enemy against the wall. Does when it hits an enemy, get stuck in a wall, and you need to go grab it back, which can be kind of hard to ask. Kind of a hard ask. But yeah, I mean, it's an item. It's certainly an item, not one of my favorites. Shovel, survival scaling, nice fast. That third hit does knockback and stun. Can hit away projectiles. Overall, a great weapon. I mean, if only just because it is a very fast survival weapon, which is worth a lot. Rhythm and Bazooki, if you hit the button at the right time, that's me getting it when it turns red. Get criticals. It is actually a shockingly powerful weapon. Like, you can get so much DPS out of this and work with a survival run for extra survival. It's a really good. It's very, very good, but that timing is hard to get down. Even if you don't get it, though, still pretty good. Basic brutality weapon. Third hit does a kick with a critical strike. Yeah, not too much to say about Wrenching Whip. Technically, like, it pulls enemies towards you. That does not really make too much of a difference in the regular parts of the run. Giant Killer, got from the Giant. It is a very slow and pretty unimpressive weapon, but getting critical hits against elite enemies and bosses, it is just probably what I'm going to be doing 5-cell mode with, if I'm being honest here. It is that good. The damage it gets on bosses is incredible, and as long as I have like a heavy grenade or something, powerful grenade, to kind of back me up, I can just save it mostly for bosses. Tornado. Rolls around at the speed of sound, doing a pretty minimal amount of damage, but it does like delete every single projectile from the screen. As soon as a projectile goes through that, it's gone. Against something like the Giant, for example, pretty good. You can just completely eliminate his fireball sequences with that weapon alone. Although, I do think that you're probably better served just having a shield in that fight. Boys X, reference to the latest God of War. Roots enemies to the ground, does damage when you call it back. Used to be a lot more powerful. These days it's still good, though. It does damage, and it also keeps enemies locked in place. That's fine. That is an effective item. Wave Denial. Pushes enemies away, can be spammed like a lot, especially if you take any one of the cooldown reduction type mechanics. Also deletes projectiles around you, but reflects them back at enemies. Throwing an enemy into a wall does extra damage. It's pretty good, and it's something that also can work out pretty well just separately from a tactics run because of the whole like deleting the projectiles mechanic. Ice Armor absorbs one hit. Great if you're cursed. Also gives you survival scaling and freezes enemies around and activate it again. Or if you just get hit, it will automatically activate, but will have a longer cooldown then. It's good. It's a good item. It's a turret. Barnacle is a turret. It's invincible. That's, I don't know. I think I would rather have something else. But hey, it's usable. Spike boots, nice fast attacking, and the whole critical hit if it interrupts an enemy attack, i.e. if an enemy is attacking you, you get critical hits on them. It's very, very good for taking advantage of that breach mechanic that I was talking about, because you do extra damage when enemies are attacking you, which means you can knock them out of their attack and then continue attacking them. Crusher, slow weapon, does damage, does stun. Very easy to get breach with that, basically. It's hard to get enemies to actually walk into this area, though, for the amount of time that it requires. Kind of frustrating, too. Now, here's the Force Shield. This is the one that I was referencing the Hand of the King having as thigh pads in the last episode. Invincibility barrier. Not as good as Rampart. Can last for quite a while, though. And it'll slowly regen over time and faster if you get parries. It's alright. So yeah, here we go. It's a door. And you can use it in the same way that you use any sort of door. It will stun enemies when you break through it. You can use it to kind of like partition off areas so that enemies can't, so that you can have like rampagers come up and attack you. You can open it like a normal door if you so please. It also can do stuff like, you know, drops a grenade when destroyed, burns the ground when destroyed, releases a cloud of toxic gas when you throw it down. There's some synergies with it. Also worked well with the crowbar item. Yeah, there's some stuff you can do with it. It's at first glance though, it does seem kind of like weird and gimmicky. Seismic Strike roots enemies to the ground, which it's all right. It's a nice fast survival weapon comparatively, so you can get some good usage out of it. Also synergizes, from what I understand, pretty well with Heart of Ice. Because immobilizing enemies on your just regular hit and then just constantly hitting them after that, that's a lot of cooldown reduction. So yeah, it's a good item. Giant's Fist, can't actually see, but the giant whistle. The giant just punches an enemy. It is a good remove one enemy from the playing field if you're using a survival run. Not as much AoE as the powerful grenade, but it's a lot of damage. Like, it's an incredibly huge amount of damage, and you can use it from anywhere. You don't even have to have sight of the enemy. Well, you have to have sight of the enemy, but the enemy doesn't have to see you or anything. And it just works. Great item. Corrosive Cloud. Poison, bleed. Super minimal amount of poison and bleed, and does not really last long enough to be great. You might think, hey, you can set up some synergies with it. I would not recommend it. Not worth it. Death Orb. Slow-moving, devastating orb. After it does enough damage, it will explode. It's good. It's good. Goes through shields, too. Not really too much to say about it. It's just a decent survival item. I would recommend using it. Flawless. Kind of a cumbersome type of... That upswing is really hard to judge the exact... The upswing as the first hit of the combo is really hard to judge exactly how far it hits in front of you. But aside from that, if you can avoid taking damage, it's a pretty good item. It gets some great criticals. And then Flashing Fans finally are, well, they're Flashing Fans. They hit away projectiles. They're kind of like your parrying, maybe like a parrying dagger or something like that. It's an item that can attack and also defend. Protect and also attack. Also, it's got some fun synergy with the launches a grenade, where you can hit it way in front of you. Now, does that really make that much of a difference? I don't know, but it is something. It is a part of the weapon. And let's go take a look at the mutations. Yeah, this one's very good. This one, in the next episode, where I'm going to be doing another one of the more safe types of runs that I've used, would highly recommend getting. Frenzy, Killer Instinct, Melee, it's a very short amount of time. Open Wounds, also great for setting up some synergies. You use that with something like Sadistic Dagger. It's a recipe for criticals all the time, basically. Soldier's Resistance, also very good. As you can see, it gives you a pretty hefty boost without taking away your ability to eat. Tainted Flask. Hard to use, but by the end of the game, it's down to 4 elite enemies, so when you don't have any other way of healing, it can be useful. Vengeance, also something you're going to be seeing in the next episode quite a bit, because it is something. Crow's Foot, great for slowing down enemies and making sure that you're keeping your distance with tactics. Initiative, Networking's pretty good. I think that it works best when you're going up against the giant, because you can hit like the giant's eyes and 2 hands all at the same time, and it gets up to like 80% of the damage that they receive. So it's pretty good. It's pretty great. Parting gift, Predator. I've seen some people who really like this. I've never really gotten too much usage out of it. I don't know if I ever actually recorded where I got the blueprint. It's from the invisible automatons all the way up in the clock tower. Ripper, I'd rather just take like a shield or something. Scheme, maybe if you're using something like the hook shot or the grappling hook or the phaser, you can get a lot of usage out of it. I don't know if I would really use it all that much. Support, pretty good if you're using any sort of turrets. It's just about damage increase. Of course, I usually like going for defensive stuff, especially as you're getting up there in difficulty in the game. Tactical retreat, witch time. It's pretty good. It's good. Would recommend. Tranquility, if you're using some really long-ranged type of weapons, like magic missile, for example, that can really hit enemies far away and constantly, you can get some good usage out of this, but otherwise, it's kind of a hard take. Only for super ranged, builds only. It's okay. It's really not that much. If it was like increasing it by 239 DPS for like the next 10 seconds, maybe. But a single attack, that's it. I mean, it is a lot of extra healing. And you do get a little bit of extra DPS. Killing an elite will occasionally heal some infection. I haven't even seen infection all that much yet, but it's not very good. Frostbite can be okay with something like Seismic Strike. The DPS is so minimal. Like, look at like Tranquility or Support. Like, I can have Support pretty much constantly active, and it does like more than twice as much DPS as Frostbite. Gastronomy, that's good stuff. Get an extra DPS boost for 500 or for 5 minutes, 300 seconds. Heart of Ice can, if you got the right stuff, it can work out pretty well. Necromancy need say no more. It's the best. It's got another confession to make. It's a fool, because it's simply the best. It's hard to, it's only 1 parry, and although it is a much greater amount healed, there's a lot of enemies that only use projectile attacks, and that does not work on that. Well, given the amount of stuff I had to go through to get this, it's great. Great synergy with Acceptance. Also, it does require that you endure more curse, but you do heal an awful lot, which is rare on higher levels of difficulty. Ammo, I mean, if you know you need it, it's great. Otherwise, it's completely useless in most builds. Great in some builds, useless in others. Dead inside, I mean, extra health, yeah. Disengagement, also great too. It really can be a run saver, especially if you're working with tactics. Emergency triage. It's good, especially if you're trying to go for like perfect fights against bosses, trying to get those 6 chivos. I don't know, the lessened healing is kind of frustrating, but you can use it very fast. Maybe I would just say to use this for the more, if you're having trouble in a fight, grab this sort of thing, and you can probably get a lot of usage out of it. If you have something that does criticals all the time, like a quick bow or the sadistic dagger, can be pretty good, but it takes until end game to make the cooldown be anything even somewhat worthwhile. It's very low for most of the game, but by the time you get into the castle, you can probably get a lot of usage out of it. Masochist, yeah, it's good. It's all right. It's mostly great for the giant fight. Recovery, which improves your recovery improves your ability to rally up health after you take damage. But the thing is, after you get hit a second time, you lose all of your rally. So, I don't know. If I'm usually getting hit once, I'm getting hit multiple times. So, Velocity, great if you're using Swift Sword. And, I don't know. Also, maybe if you're if you got nothing else you want to take, you're doing like a cursed sword run, and you don't really need power, you don't really need defense, you just need speed. And then the YOLO mutation, which is good. Mostly great for early game. I think at this point in time, I might start kind of phasing this out for instead going for like Dead Inside, Disengagement, or just like Necromancy, grabbing Soldier's Resistance, maybe getting something like Open Wounds. It's like there's better stuff that you can get, I think. But for early game, can't be beat. All right, now we just got the huge blueprint section, and then all of the lore areas are collected, and then it's on to 4 boss cell mode, where it gets even more difficult.